Welcome and thanks for coming back to the Clive Barker Podcast. In episode 407, Jose and Ryan talk about the new UHD release of Nightbreed and some other Nightbreed prop news and news from our friends at Little Spark Films. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive, an advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the side banner and follow the link to the Etsy shop where the artwork has returned to from the local galleries. New stuff in there. I just got myself one called Snail Bait. This is my second painting of Don Bertram's that I've gotten. All right, welcome to episode 407 of the Clive Barker Podcast. Good evening, Jose.
Hi, Ryan. It's nice to be with you again.
Yeah. I stayed home sick today. I've got some kind of a stomach flu.
That's no fun. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that's one of those one-day things.
It felt like a rock in my stomach. Just a lot of waves of pain. And if I lie down, it feels okay. But if I'm sitting or walking around or standing, it's not so great.
Oh, that's terrible.
I had kind of a fever last night, but I think that's gone now. But this is a news episode, and we wanted to do this right away because there was a pretty big piece of news, right?
Yeah, very exciting news for Clive Barker fans and especially Nightbreed fans.
Yeah, the Nightbreed. So Shout Factory in 2014 made a couple of Blu-ray sets of Nightbreed when the director's cut came out. And so now there is a 4K release of Nightbreed. Actually, three different releases of this movie. Yeah,
it's got different bundles, which I guess we'll get into.
Yeah. So, when I first got this news, I was thinking, how are they going to make a 4K release of the director's cut? Because I know for a fact that when Andrew Furtado and Mark Miller were editing it, they took film and scanned it into HD, like 1080p, right? And that's right. That's what they edited. So they would have to start all over again to put that in 4K. And so we found out from looking at this release that it's only the theatrical cut that's in 4K. The other one is on a regular 1080p Blu-ray, HD Blu-ray, which we're still happy to get. I mean, we were happy when that came out, so.
Yeah, I mean, we never had the theatrical cut in 4K. I mean, for the longest time, I would say probably for over 20 years, the only version that we had was a bare bones DVD to watch. And then all of a sudden we had a Blu-ray and, the 2K transfer or whatever it was. And now we've got a 4K transfer, the theatrical cut. And I'm sure you'll be able to see all the seams in Boone's makeup and all of all of the optical matte effects around everything. But
the strings on Babette.
Oh gosh, yeah. So, but it's fun, right? I mean, by itself, it would already be worthy of news.
So there's one big, massive collector set. And I thought, because of our history with Occupy Midian, I had to buy one of these. So I did. I ordered the big old $139.99. That's the pre-order price, right? I got one of those.
Right. And it's going to be $145.97 after it goes on sale.
And that's if they're not sold out, right? Because there's only 500 of those.
I know. Yeah. So this bundle is the Nightbreed Collector's Edition, right? Which is the 4-disc version of the 4K Ultra HD, plus 2 posters. One poster is the typical one that you see on the cover, which is all the Nightbreed, standing around Boone and stuff. And then there's another one.
Yeah, theatrical poster.
Right. And there's another new art that looks pretty good.
It looks almost like comic artwork in a way.
Yeah, like a comic cover.
Yeah, it looks
That's
cool.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then it also comes with lobby cards and another poster and enamel pins.
Yeah, the enamel pins are like Peliquin, Kinski, Decker, Narcisse, and Boone. So they look pretty nice. I got to say, they look pretty deluxe to me. That's
So I'm excited about this. If you guys out there are getting it, share it when you get it. Well, let's see what your number is. Right now, as we're talking, today is only what is today? Wednesday. Today's only Wednesday, the 31st of May. As we're recording this, there are still 441 left of these. So that means only 19 have sold. Or wait, no, that's not right. 59 have sold.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. I got to jump on one of these. Yeah, for sure. And then there's a second bundle, which is just the collector's edition plus 2 posters and the slipcover. So it doesn't have the lobby cards or the pins.
And that one's $44.98.
Yeah, $44.98.
Pre-order price.
Yep.
Is
and
that
then you
also
have,
a limited number?
Yes. I'm not sure. Let me check.
Yeah, it is. Probably 1,500, right? Because it says there's 1,358 left in stock.
1,358 left in stock. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. This is going like hotcakes. Yeah. So if it just came out today and there's already like 150 roughly that have been sold, okay. Well, it's going to sell it pretty quickly, I guess.
Yeah. Got to throw these on the Nightbreed pile.
Yeah. And then there's just the collector's edition, which is just the box with the 4 discs. And that one is $39.99. Pre-order price will be $44.98 after it goes on sale. I'm sure that this one is going to be also. Wait. Let me see how many they have for this one. Let's see. Does it say anything? Nope. This one doesn't seem to have any sort of run information. So this one is probably going to stay available for quite a while.
Yeah.
For people who have 4K.
They're probably replacing the old theatrical cut set or the old director's cut, 2-disc set that they, it's still here for $18.99, but I bet eventually that one will get phased out because this new one has Blu-rays and 4K UHD Blu-rays in it. So
well, that's true, but regular Blu-rays can't read the 4K Blu-ray, right? They can't take advantage of the 4K thing?
But 4K can read regular Blu-rays.
Yeah. Well, but this one's a 4-disc version. There's always going to be people who want to have just the regular director's cut, I guess.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that even if somebody doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player, this also comes with Blu-ray, regular HD Blu-rays in it. So you can still play those.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah,
and then
that's cool.
Wait until later to play the 4K ones when you get a player for that. Yeah,
I like all the materials that they're including on that collector's edition. That's $140.
Yeah,
I don't think they say who made the second poster, the new art for the poster.
Yeah, I would be interested to know who that artist is.
Yeah, it's really, really nice and photorealistic. You've got Decker hovering over Boone. And then, there's floating faces for Lylesburg, Leroy Gom, and there's a bunch of them.
I think Shuna Sassy is to his lower left, right? Because she's got the robe on there. That's right. That's right. Yep.
Covered
up and it's small, so it's hard to see. But
above her is Devil Lude.
Yeah,
I see it. And then there's Kinski as well. Yeah, so all the big hitters are here. I like the pins. Those are definitely going to add some flair to, messenger bags or jackets or your favorite backpack.
Yeah. Oh, Lori is on that poster too. You just can't see her because she's covered up by the other poster.
Oh, yeah.
But you can see her on the box cover.
And it looks like they include a nice little box for the pins as well, like a black box there. That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So, so what is in the 4 discs? So disc 1 is the 4K Ultra HD theatrical cut with a new 4K scan of the best surviving film elements. So, it's always great to hear about this, that they're preserving what's left of the best elements for these releases. You got the disc 2, which is the Blu-ray theatrical cut. So that's, like you said,
regular HD 1080p. Yeah.
Right. With the 4K scan of the best surviving film elements, was probably in 1080p. Disc 3 is the director's cut of Blu-ray, which has got the audio commentaries. It's pretty much the same disc if you already had that before.
Yeah.
It's got the Tribes of the Moon, Making of Nightbreed, Making Monsters with the special effects artists, and Firefight Stunts, a look at second unit shoot. And then disc 4, it's Blu-ray with bonus features. So it's got all those deleted scenes, the Monster Prosthetics Masterclass, Cutting Compromise, the Painted Landscape about the glass paintings, matte painting tests, makeup tests, stop motion, lost footage, rehearsal test, and still galleries. This is basically the 3-disc edition plus a 1-disc 4K for the theatrical cut.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's a pretty good price, $140 right now.
Yeah. Well, and I've never seen Nightbreed in 4K, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad to see. I never would have thought that this would be put in 4K before Hellraiser.
Yeah, no, for sure. But hey, there's been so many movies now that are coming out in 4K, and they're pretty obscure. Like you go to, movies that would show up in things like Vinegar Syndrome and other places like that. And if those movies can get 4K, I mean, why not Nightbreed, right?
Yeah. Well, and who would have thought that Rawhead Rex would be the first one? The first, Well, I guess, was it Rawhead Rex or was Lord of Illusions in 4K? No, Lord of Illusions is still just in regular Blu-ray 1080p. So yeah, Rawhead Rex is the first Clive Barker movie that got put in 4K Blu-ray.
And then Transmutations is going to come out in Blu-ray as well soon.
They talked about that that's been over a year that we've been hearing about that.
Yeah, but there's been stuff that we've heard that took a year or two before it materialized. So you never know. Hey, like I was saying, there's been so many obscure movies. Why not Transmutations? The director himself on Instagram one time said that he had that to announce that it was going to come out. But
I think it should be a box set that's all in UHD with Rawhead Rex, Transmutations, and Salome and the Forbidden.
That would be pretty sweet.
Clive Barker's early, films or something like that.
Well, that all depends if Clive wants his name on those movies.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't stop them from getting released in other places.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's good news for Nightbreed fans. And as usual, people are complaining that, this is just region A. It's just US. Yeah. What about us in Europe or England, other places like that?
Well, this is Shout Factory, and all of those rights have been sorted out. So now Arrow will probably do something really similar.
Right, exactly. So now we've seen that all these things eventually make it across the pond to the other regions. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
It's not going to take 4 or 5 years like it did before, right? Because now they've already got the rights worked, the distribution rights worked out. So it'll probably be really quick, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so. So, it will eventually come out there. So now that the package is created, it will find its way to more than one region, I'm sure. Yeah. But, so there's been some props that have shown up as well, right? Props from Nightbreed that are still showing up in places like eBay and Facebook.
Yeah. We recently saw one of those maggot babies like you see in that promotional image with Clive and
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg. They're sitting there holding each one, cradling one of those little maggot baby puppets. I don't think those puppets actually made it into the film, right? I can't remember seeing them anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to very carefully rewatch the movie, but I don't think they made it to the movie. Yeah. Maybe unless they might be somewhere in a background character holding something.
Or maybe they're in one of those early super muddy versions of the Cabal cut, from that was... It's hard to say. There was a time when it was the Midian fight was 40 minutes long, so they might have showed up in there, but it was a little tough to see with the VHS quality, dailies or the film elements and stuff.
So this is actually constructed out of foam latex rubber, so it's a maggot body with a baby head.
Yeah.
It was hand painted. It was used in publicity materials with Clive and Cronenberg. Measures around 22 by 7 inches, and of course this is old. This is a thing that's getting close to it's over 30 years old at this point. It's got some cracks. It's got some deterioration, but I think it was being sold by Stephen Imhoff Jr.
Yeah.
Through Occupy Midian and also on eBay. I guess because Occupy Midian now is a closed group, we'll just post a link to the eBay. Right. I think he's selling it right now for around $550 or something.
But if you're on Facebook, you should join the Occupy Midian group.
Of course.
Yeah. If you listen to us, then a lot of our stuff, a lot of our discussion and stuff goes on in there. That was a pretty big thing for us almost since the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah, and Stephen Imhoff, for those of you who have been listening to our podcast, you might remember him. He was the guy who played Christopher Carrion in that Abarat 3 book trailer.
Yeah.
Was it Abarat 3 or 2 book trailer?
Yeah,
3 or 3.
Abarat 3.
Yeah. And he's also helped design like Pinhead makeup that made it to like the IMATs, I think, one of those conventions where they recreated the Pinhead makeup. I think he was one of the guys involved with that. So, and so he's selling that apparently on eBay. His nickname is Lamer81.
Yeah.
And he's selling a bunch of stuff right now. Yeah, he was also selling like a bound photocopy of the original Nightbreed script draft manuscript, right? Written by Clive Barker. And that was like the entire script handwritten, but then someone took a Xerox of that and bound it up, and he was selling that for like, I don't know, $300 or whatever it was.
Yeah. And there was I was considering getting this, but I don't think I will. But we talked about this before, but there was a copy of Hellraiser Revelations where that belonged to Mark Miller, and Clive Barker took it and drew like glasses on the Pinhead with a silver Sharpie, like
defacing the cover.
Yeah, exactly, and then signed it and gave it back to Mark. So that's on eBay now too. So I kind of was interested in it because it was something that we laughed about and talked about on the podcast back in the day when he got that.
Yes,
but at the same time, it is still Hellraiser Revelations, and I didn't like paying $4 for that when I got the Blu-ray, at the wherever I got that from.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, it would be kind of an expensive gag gift.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the worst Hellraiser movie, and it's really painful to watch.
Yeah. It's a bad Hellraiser. I mean, if you love it, God bless you, but it didn't work for me.
No. Nope. Yeah, and you had put a link in here for Zoe Cross screen used movie props Facebook.
Oh yeah, that was another little prop that showed up. I was looking around for Clive Barker news today before we started recording, and to add anything, so I didn't find a lot of stuff, but I did find this one. It was someone who had posted a page about studio props, listed an original miniature person mold created for the classic Clive Barker 1990 horror film Nightbreed. The miniatures of the Midian set require dressing with scale miniature people. So this is for those shots where you see like the truck going down through like the bridges of Midian and falling down and blowing up, and then the fire comes up and swallows up those rope bridges and all that. So for those like miniature shots and cemetery figurines and statues that were like in matte painting shots and stuff. So this mold was created to make the generic people for these miniature sets to be dressed or finished as required. Wow. So it's kind of a generic little mold, but
that's it's more of a deep cut. I mean, I think your prop is a little more impressive. Your
Midian key. Yeah. I mean, there's people who were selling like sheer neck police, like emblems a while ago. The kind of fabric emblems that they had on those jackets and shirts.
The Sons of the Free and stuff.
Yeah. So, those things, hopefully, studiopropsuk.com. Yeah. So I'm not sure if those things have already sold or not, but there's a link in the show notes that shows you what Facebook post that we're talking about. Sorry, we're recording this at night, and it's getting close to midnight, and I'm a little tired. Yes, I want to apologize for stumbling.
Well, and so in our next one, Simon Bamford, longtime friend of the show. We've gotten to meet him in person. He's a great all-around person. He's going to be appearing at Horrorcon Scotland. So for all of our Scottish friends, that's in October 21st. You'll be able to see him in Aberdeen, in Scotland.
Aberdeen, yeah. 18-plus event features movie guests, traders, movie showings, on-stage entertainment, exhibits, and more. They're asking people to dress up, to meet their horror stars, watch horror films, and immerse yourself in the macabre atmosphere. So it's great that people in Scotland get to, enjoy meeting some of their favorite video nasty actors, right?
When they say dress up, do they mean like wear a suit, or do they mean like, wear a costume?
I think they mean wear a costume. I think I would hazard a guess that it's going to be for that.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I've been seeing some photos that people have been posting from Texas Fragment Weekend.
Oh yeah, lots of cool stuff.
Man,
I'm jealous. That would have been nice to go to.
I know. Yeah, and there were someone dressed up like the killer from that Jodie Foster movie with Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone dressed like Buffalo Bill, so it's just one guy in like a banana hammock and like a shawl with like a weird wig and lots of makeup, and he was just taking pictures of everybody at the festival, and everybody was loving that guy because it was just such a great photo opportunity.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks like people had a fun time there.
Yeah. Ian went there, right? We'll have to ask him how all of that went. I mean, I think he's been posting some updates on it on Facebook.
Great. I think he was going to try to talk to Ted Raimi.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if anything's come of that too. That would be cool if we had something we could put up. You know, he's actually. I mean, he's had small parts, but he's been in 2 Barker related movies, right? Candyman and Midnight
Meat Train. Yep. Very, very short cameos. Yep.
And he got away in Candyman.
He got away? Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, because the girlfriend got killed.
Yes.
And he ran for it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Little Spark Films, this was something that kind of slipped by me at first because I thought they were just advertising something from Troma. But it turns out that Catalina Carida is reading an audiobook of a book by Lloyd Kaufman called Make Your Own Damn Movie. So she's the narrator, and Little Spark Films produced it, and I believe that book is going to be streaming on
through Troma Now.
Troma Now, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I had Troma Now for months, and I enjoyed it a lot. There was that Gringo Fantastico thing with that Joe worked on. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hard to make up what the guy's saying with the big luchador mask, but I think they dub it over, so some parts are better than others. But so Troma Now, I really enjoy that little platform. I watched a bunch of movies, rewatching things like The Toxic Avenger or Class of Nukem High and Sergeant Kabuki Man, LAPD. NYPD.
Right, yeah.
I'm so sleepy. But, make your own damn movie. You can get insight from the mind of Uncle Lloyd Kaufman himself. And if you ever wanted to make your own movie, this is how you learn.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it gets onto I'm hoping it gets onto Audible too. And so this was kind of just like more of a topic, I guess, because Looper made an article about Abarat is made for the streaming age. And so they were arguing that, hey, now there's more Abarat books around. Maybe it's a perfect time to make a TV series out of Abarat. And but
no complaints out of me.
Yeah. I would love that. I think that they would still have they may still have the same issue that Disney had, is that it's a long time in between books. So if they do a season 1 and it covers book 1, and by the time they get through 3 years, seems like a long time, but it's not a long time for an Abarat book to get written. So I don't know. And
those Abarat books, you can burn through them real quick.
Well, each one is bigger than the last. Like book 3 is pretty big.
Yes, but book 3 also almost kind of like never stops from beginning to end, so it's almost like a continuous story.
That's true. Yeah. But it would be. But if we had like a series, like a season for each book, I think that would be awesome. That would be great.
I still hold out hope that Abarat will be completed someday.
Yeah.
I want to believe that we will be able to one day be able to pick up book 1 and read it through to the last book. That's what I want to do.
I want to do that too. I think that'll be a fun thing to go through from beginning to end.
If someone licensed a studio, licensed Abarat, I mean, they do bring up the inevitable comparison to Game of Thrones, which is another series of books who still has not been completed, which still apparently needs at least a couple more books to be finished.
But they finished the TV series already.
Right. Yeah. So And it's like, it's always going to be that compromise, right? I mean, it's going to be like, there's going to be the TV show ending and then the actual ending from the author of the books.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah, I don't know if I could take that if they screw with it, like how they messed with Dread.
Yeah. I would prefer to see something that's adapted from a complete story. So that way we know that is the artist's vision.
Yeah, and also talking to Bernard Rose on our last episode on 406. If you haven't heard it, you should check it out. Because he talked about his involvement with the Thief of Always movie, right? And,
that's right.
And there were, and that's another troubled production. And he talked about in that.
Yeah. Spent 2 years trying to make it work.
Yeah, and it's been through 3 studios, I think it was, right?
Right.
And so now you'd have to pay off all those studios if you wanted to make Thief of Always.
Yeah. I think he mentioned something around $5 million or something.
$20 million.
$20 million. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Just before you even start, right? Just to pay for all the work that they did for it.
Yeah. So that complicates things a bit, but I still think there's so many great ideas that would make amazing like movies. I mean, people tend to fall always on the same things. And recently it's been always that same note of like the books of blood, the books of blood, the books of blood. And it's like the books of blood story, like bookend stories are good, but we already had 2 movies made out of that.
Yeah. I would like to see them make an animated series of the books of blood and start at the beginning and go through all of them. I don't care whether they've been adapted already or not. The Last Illusion would be a pretty different story than Lord of Illusions.
Agreed. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And for example, I still think that like Revelations would be a great movie. With the preacher, and his wife checking into a hotel that's haunted, and I think that could be an amazing like horror movie.
That's a good point. Yeah, you'd get to pad it out with your own stuff, like Bernard Rose was saying, because he adapted a kind of short story when he took The Forbidden and made Candyman out of it, and so they get a little more freedom. They can include everything in the original story and add some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it always makes me wonder a little bit when I see these articles that are like, hey, Abarat would make a great young adult, thing for the streaming age. It's like, do you guys know something I don't? Or is this just something that someone wrote because they needed to fill up another article? Because I'm on board if something's going to happen with Abarat. But I have those fears, right? I mean, the fears that, it's been 21 years and we still have only 3 books, and apparently there's 2 more to go. It's not that linear, but it's like 7 years per book. And the 3rd book came out in, when was that? 2011.
Yeah.
So that one's been 12 years ago.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm still holding out hope, though. I'm still holding out hope.
Oh yeah.
For the next one, which apparently would be called what's that name?
Kree Rising.
Kree Rising, right?
Yeah,
Kree would be some character. I'm imagining.
I think it's a race of creatures.
Oh, okay.
And then Dynasty of Dreamers, right, is number 5. Or I can't remember, or was that a working title for number 4 that got changed?
I don't know anymore. I honestly don't know. It's almost midnight, and I'm very tired. But
Gargosium.
Gorgosium?
Yeah, that's midnight, right? It's almost Gargosium.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I get what you did there. Yeah. That's funny. I'm actually looking at a map in front of me. That's an archipelago of little islands.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I would be on board with that, but there's always those things, right? Like how would they finish it? Because once they reach the 3rd book and that's done, then either they would work with Clive on something to continue moving it forward. But then it's like, it does make me want to be a little fly on the wall at Clive's house and be able to look into those Abarat boxes and find out how much is already kind of lined up in terms of plot and story.
Honestly, it's no offense to Looper, but I think probably it should be us writing articles like this, or people who are more super fans. Like Looper spelled Magica wrong. They put a G in it. You know, and little stuff like that. It just kind of like, oh, you know, you're just looking for stuff to write about. You know.
Well, you know, I mean, that's the reality of the blogosphere, is that a lot of content is just generated to have content. And
now a robot can write blog posts, right?
Oh God, yeah. So that makes you wonder, right? How many of these new websites are relying on ChatGPT to
which just steals stuff from other blogs and recombines it.
That reminds me, one time I asked ChatGPT if there was a podcast about Clive Barker, and it said that there were 3. So there was the Clive Barker podcast.
Okay, and we were number 1.
There was the Hellraiser podcast.
All right, then.
And then there was another Clive Barker podcast that had almost the same name as us and does not exist. And so I was like, oh, this is not right, ChatGPT. But it had a few weird results. I mean, I haven't had access to that since I had the trial, and I haven't been using AI that much lately. I'll have to
spam emails from people who are like, hey, I love your podcast, and but I've noticed that your website isn't on the number 1 search results for Google. And I'm thinking, like, type in Clive Barker Podcast and see what you get, because I'm pretty sure we're number 1 on Google if you do that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Good stuff. Yeah, it's always this, search engine optimization, like people trying to get us to pay them to do that.
Yeah, we've got 12 years of content, and so of course we're going to be at the top on there.
I know. If we had more time and we had more people willing to write blog articles, that would be a reality. But I already spent almost half my day at a computer, and it's kind of hard to write blog posts after that.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are maxed out with just running the podcast the way we do now. And we used to have more people, and we used to do articles and reviews and all kinds of stuff. I would love to have that stuff again, but I think it seems like it's not in the cards. People come and go. They, decide to move on, do other things.
Yeah, but the podcast, the audio podcast, is really the backbone of this operation. Yeah. And I think, the interaction between the two of us while we were talking about news and get off on little tangents is really what kind of puts it all together. Yeah. And that people enjoy listening to. So,
but every once in a blue moon, I'll see somebody post one of our old articles from the blog on a Clive Barker site. I'm like, oh, they posted one of our things.
I know. It's great. It's good. Yeah. We love you guys.
Yeah. So coming next, we're going to be doing Jericho Squad 77. If the stars align and everybody who says they can make it, we'll be recording that this weekend, and it'll be going up the next weekend. And then on top after that, we've got A-Z Commentaries. We'll be continuing Z for Zombie with Day of the Dead audio commentary and more Classic Commentaries.
Yay.
Yeah. I haven't done a Classic Commentary in a while because we've had other stuff to do, but they'll start coming back. I'm going to be going to Homer, Alaska to go halibut fishing here pretty soon, so there's going to be one on that weekend.
Oh, that's right. You do that stuff. That's fun. Yeah. So is that ice fishing?
No.
It's
summertime. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's on the ocean. Halibut are huge. They're like they're enormous, like flounders. Only they're really big.
Embarrassing. I should have known that. It's okay. But that sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be nice. It's a 12-hour drive from here, though. It's a really long drive.
Yeah, but I bet when you're there, it's really worth it being out in the water and just fishing. So you fish from a boat?
Yeah. We take a charter boat and go out fishing.
Get a cooler, fill it up with some stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like heaven to me.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And halibut is really good. You can make beer battered halibut.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. All right. Well, it was a kind of a short news episode, but I felt there were things like the Nightbreed theatrical cut 4K Ultra HD that needed to be put out there.
Exactly.
And let's go ahead and make this sell out.
Yeah. Yeah, so let us know if you get one of those limited ones. Tell us what number you are when they arrive. And I'll be posting mine up. I'll do the same. All right. And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Twitter, or our new Discord server. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast. Opening music by Ray Norrish, end credit music by Matt Furness.
Thanks for listening.